Farmer Matt here from Bee Review.
Huckle.
Huckleberry Matt.
Hucklebee.
Hucklebee. Welcome to the Ogles channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Now we have a special guest on the show today, my wife Rachel. There we go, because this is of course our first installment of a series known as Wife Reviews, where she plays the game with me and then helps to review the game at the same time as I review the game. Now today, we have a game that is mixed. We have a game called Bee Simulator.
Yes, Bee Simulator.
It's definitely not an A game. I say it's a B game at best. Anyway, the game starts out, and it's, well, before we get to that, the game is on Nintendo Switch, and that's what we played it on. It's also on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, PC, and it's just a variety of however you want to play the game.
It's on the PC.
It's on the PC as well.
Then why didn't we play it on that?
Because we have a Mac. But I'm sure it's better on the PC, but we don't know.
Of course it's better on the PC.
The graphics would certainly be better because they were sort of lacking on the Switch. But you start the game off, and the game is beautiful when you start off. It's a watercolor scenery, and I'll clip it in here.
I don't think it's watercolor.
What? Okay.
Photoshop
Paint. And so it looks, it's gorgeous when it starts off. You have this little bee journeying around. But then it turns a sad turn and tells about how climate change and other factors, the human factors, but bees are slowly passing away. And it's a very much of an environmentalist game. It's trying to steer you in the right direction on helping to save the bees.
Which, as an environmentalist, I completely fell in love with this part of the game, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant what they did and the story they told and how to get across to us as humans why keeping bees alive is so important to our livelihood. So the game started off with a total A+ score.
Yeah, it was a fantastic intro, and it pulls you in, and then you get to meet one of the bees who has this voice, and we'll flip it here.
Aww.
Yeah, so you heard it just there. And the voice there, like, it's throughout the whole game. I mean, like, the voice never changes whether you talk to the queen bee or a worker bee or your personal voice. It's always the same voice actress.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine if she changed the way she talked, but it's sometimes even sort of hard to know who's talking because she just was reading the script off. But that's a minor point, really. When you get into the game, though, the first thing after that, after the intro, you meet this tutorial bee, and as you begin to play, you get to name your bee as well. I forgot about that. And our bee was named Weebee.
Weebee, because it's a wee bee.
It's a small bee, and it's a Scottish bee.
It's a Scottish bee.
So, they have bees in Scotland?
Moving on.
Anyway, the Weebee is what our bee was called. And as Weebee, you begin the game, and you get to, of course, you get to move pollen from plant to plant. You get to collect honey. You get to go on some minor little missions, and all this in the tutorial. And it seemed like a lot of fun, like what they said you're going to do, the scenery. But like, it was extremely hard to control, like to a fault.
Yeah.
Like you barely tap to the right control stick, and you go flying to the right. I mean, it was just a back and forth. I didn't care for that very much at all. And we even tried to go into the settings.
And I thought it was just because I was bad at video games. It turns out that the controls just sucked.
Yeah, I mean, they were awful within this. And so we decided to go into these settings. And, in the settings, we could try to adjust it. But we turned the sensitivity way down, which just made it more sensitive. So then I thought maybe I did the menu wrong. So I went back and turned the sensitivity way up, which made it even more sensitive again. It's just like no matter what I did, the game got more sensitive. And it came to the point where I even went to the controls, and in the menu itself, the controls were messed up. And I accidentally changed the language back and forth like 3 or 4 times. I mean, luckily my Dutch skills came in handy, and we were able to change back to English. But before then, we knew it was back in Japanese, and her Japanese skills came in handy. Before we knew it was in Polish and German. Eventually got back to English, and after enough tries, we decided that we might need to update the game because it called for an update, which we ignored at the start of the game because we were like,
I was so excited I couldn't even control myself, and we had to start immediately.
And so we went back and we did the update, which was the proper thing to do. And once we did the update, the controls were better. They weren't perfect, but they were better. That's the best way to put it.
Slightly.
When you were flying, just free flying, it wasn't bad. You could steer how you wanted to steer. But there were some missions in the game, like holy cow, like it was very precise steering, getting through these little hoops, following bees.
Even for an avid Bloodborne player,
yes.
this was difficult.
So,
So mind you, if you just watched me do it a time or two, you would have gotten a real kick.
yeah, so I mean, I really worked hard on it. Some of the missions I still failed just because the controls were so bad within it. But after you branch out of the tutorial, you get out of the honey hive, the hive area, and as you branch the honey hive, and you branch out the cave, and you journey through the rest of the land, the world opens up. It's a very open world game, and you can do first person view, you can do third person view, and you can sort of fly around. And the open world area is just simply not as pretty as the rest of the world.
No.
It's actually ugly.
Like, the first part of the game, it's like you're in Kokiri Forest.
Mm.
And then...
Kokiri?
That's not how I say it.
I always say Kokiri. Is it Kokiri? I don't actually know.
I thought it was Kokiri.
Feel free to comment
down below.
There's actual Zelda fans, people who are watching the video.
But anyway,
everyone watches my videos.
In Kokiri Forest, it has a very similar aesthetic to the bee simulator in the very beginning of the game. It's almost like fairy-like and pretty.
I agree with that.
So, A+ the beginning of the game. I'm still into the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the beginning of the game was great.
Should have just stayed there.
Yeah, I mean, if you never left the bee honey hive, you'd be great. But the game makes you leave the honey hive, and when you get to the rest of the world, it's like it's open world, and seems like there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's very repetitive, and there's really just not much to do because you go out there and you meet these humans, and the humans look awful. They look like PlayStation 2 graphics. They look like something out of the Sims #1.
Don't diss my game. Don't do
it's
it.
The first one though. The graphics were horrible. Sims 1. We'll clip some Sims clips in here and you can see.
We don't need to clip the clips. Clip the clips in.
Clip the clips. Clip. But anyway, the graphics were terrible for the humans. And when you go up there to the human, you have an option to sting the human. And this to me was going to be the most fun part of the game. Because like, why wouldn't you want to go up and like sting these humans? I mean, that's part of being a bee probably. And so you get to go up there and you sting the human.
Definitely not sucking up sweet sugary nectar.
No.
It's definitely just
being mean. Yeah, being mean.
Being
mean. Yeah, I got it. You sting a human and they don't do anything. Like they go, ow. They don't swat at you, they don't like jerk away, and you can sting indefinitely and there's no joy behind the sting.
And what's even more great is while you're stinging them, you know, you got these humans out there with their big old boombox, you know, and they're just kind of like grooving, like so.
This.
And we're coming up and we're just stinging them in the back, in the stomach, in the arm, and they're just
the whole time.
Ow.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
They never change.
Yeah.
And the dance moves
and
are what we showed here.
They're on par with
my dance moves, it's true. And so the dancing's horrible, the graphics are horrible, the acting of being stung is horrible. You can even sting the poor little dogs if you want to do. And they don't react either. And
because he's evil.
I guess I was sadistic and I wanted to sting the dog. So that was wrong. If it was a cat, I would have never done it. But a dog. It's a dog.
Comment down below if you're a dog lover.
Yeah, you're not even a dog lover. So
I was trying to appeal to other people in the audience.
No, we're an honest channel. We don't just lie to appeal. We would rather have nobody watch the video and be honest. Which is probably why this video won't be watched.
Oh. Enter sad emoji face here.
So, as you go through the world though, like I said, like there's a difficulty spike too, because you start off and you do this little like gathering, you know, easy stuff like pollen and sugar and just like really easy, just travel here, travel. Yeah. Pollen, no, yeah, same thing. Pollen and honey, maybe? I don't know.
No,
you gather
they
stuff.
Make honey
That's
from,
right.
From pollen.
Evidently, I didn't research the game. I didn't pay attention.
Evidently, he knows nothing about bees. But that's what I'm here for.
Right, and so she's the bee expert. Berkspert.
No.
We're gonna stop the
Dad joke.
We're gonna stop
Fail.
The bee puns from this point on. No more bee puns for the rest of the video.
No more buns.
No more. See, I want to. And you did, with no more bee puppies. Anyway, there's a massive difficulty spike because it's just collecting things. Find 5 red flowers, find 5 yellow flowers, find 5 blue flowers. Easy stuff. You fly around and collect it. And then if you meet this like little sick bee and he's like, I need help and stuff like that. And you're like, wait, don't run away. And you try to follow him. And the difficulty spikes way up. I mean, and you fly through all these little circles and the...
Especially for a bee who is sick.
No, for a sick bee.
That little sucker
he must
went out like a bat out of where.
So that was
And
a
I
sick
just
bee.
want to share a story because I am a major bee lover. And there was a bee in my carport who looked like he was dying. And of course, being a person who loves bees myself, I went in the kitchen and I mixed up some sugar water. And yes, I may or may not have hand fed the bee with a don't laugh at me because I love animals more than you do and insects.
Insects, yes.
Anyway, so I took a stem of lavender and kind of dunked it into my little mixture and had hand fed him. And you know what? He survived. Turns out that bees can get very dehydrated, and if they don't find a sugar source, obviously flowers are your sugar source, and they're unable to get pollen, they get fatigued and they end up dying. And this bee in Bee Simulator, girl,
Faking it.
she was totally lying.
Yeah. It was a fibbing bee, but regardless.
Oh, and my bee lived, by the way.
The bee did live.
He did live, and he flew off back to the honey house next door.
So he hasn't reported back to us yet, but he will one day. But
his name was BB Baggins, in case anybody wanted to know.
You want to find him on
Lord of the Rings
on
reference.
Instagram or anything?
Yeah.
Baggins, he's out there.
My Instagram handle is Rachael B Artwork.
No,
So
she loves her bees.
I do love bees. I paint bees.
She does.
Well, I don't paint on the bees. I paint like a fine arts painter. I'm a fine arts painter. Okay.
I think you should become a bee painter.
Animal cruelty. No.
Animal cruelty.
Nay,
if you
nay.
did it with like nature friendly.
Nature friendly.
Paints.
No. Okay. Moving on.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh yeah, that sick bee.
The sick
Yeah,
bee.
he got flying, and you go through these circle hoops, and as you're flying after these little circle hoops and whatnot, it's very hard to control, and it's hard to control anyway, but much less with this. You're flying all over the place, and it took me multiple tries just to simply complete the mission. It almost felt like that game, Superman 64. It's a horrible game, but the circle flying was almost identical to it, and the controls were pretty similar as well. And so it did not win me points on that. And then really in the open world, so you can sting people, you can collect things, you can do small missions like sick bees, and you can battle wasp. And if you encountered a wasp, the battles of that, it's not like you actually get to fight. You simply press an order of buttons in the right order at the right time, and you either win or you lose the battle. And that was sort of boring. I mean, honestly,
I played that part, didn't I?
you played that part. And
I couldn't do the rings.
Yeah, the rings were
That was beyond my skill level.
But the game, if you were really just going to get down to it, the game was just sort of boring. Like once you got out of the main area, it's so open world, and they just didn't really fill it out with enough fun things to do. And what they did fill it out with were just mediocre. So yeah, it's dancing like that. If you could have kept the fun up from the tutorial and kept that going throughout the
Cookery
game,
Forest.
right? That was a great deal of fun. And they just simply couldn't keep the momentum up, and they moved on to the next part of the game, and it went.
Plus, it was
down
visually stimulating, whereas
Right.
the open world was just blah.
Yeah, the open world was much less stimulating than the beginning part.
It was not beautiful.
No, it was not. It was sad. Anyway, I guess for final thoughts on the game, you want to go first?
Well, if we're just going to rate based on the intro, which I thought was fantastic, as I stated before, I give it a 5 out of 10. You take the intro out, 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that
The
in a
intro
game, the
boosted
intro,
up 2 stars.
animated video can boost the game up 2 stars, but it's pretty much true. Without the animated intro, the game would I would have been very bored with the game very fast. Because it pulls you in, you know, it's the start. You got to make a video or a game, something to pull you in immediately. And so, if you've watched the Ogle's channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pull you in immediately.
Welcome back to the Ogle's channel.
See, if you're not pulled in by that, you might as well find another channel, which you probably already have. But,
Man.
but I'd say, you know, I'd put the game in probably just simply, you know, I'd give it 4 out of 10.
Really? You had to go like right in between
Right in between, 4 out of 10.
married life.
Yeah. Can't agree. It's got to go in between just to be a little bit different. And so 4 out of 10 is my rating on it. If you've not played it, just look the intro video up on YouTube, watch that, and you pretty much,
Learn about bees today.
and so there you go.
Do yourself a favor.
There you go.
Check that out.
So pretty much go through that, and you've pretty much summed up what the best part of the game is. And so you can probably avoid this game, and you can play other great simulator games like Sims, and that's a much more fun game, much more game to get into. Sim City, that's another great sim game.
No.
Roller Coaster Sim, another great
Oh.
sim game. Backpack Sim, another great sim game.
What?
Backpack Sim,
What is backpack sim?
you get to be a different backpack, and you can go on hiking trips. You can go
Nuh-uh.
on world travels, and you get to be a
You're
backpack.
lying.
You get little cute
You're
little
full of
eyeballs
it.
on the back of a backpack. It's adorable.
I think you're lying.
So, I love Backpack Sim.
Okay.
But there are so many good Sims games out there to try, and some I've never even tried.
The herbs.
The Herb Sim. Oh, herbs.
Sims in the city.
I thought it was like herbs, like
Not like herbs.
H-E-R-B-S. I was like a game of a bunch of like plants.
As much as I talk to him about herbs, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Our life is more herb instead of herb.
We're herbals.
Yeah, we're herbal.
Not herbals.
No, we're not urban. we're
Urban.
herbals.
We're not urban. We're herbals.
Oh my, not gerbils, herbals. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. This is the first of wife reviews. Expect more wife reviews in the future. And so if you enjoyed the video, be sure you like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, that is. And have any comments, comment down below. Otherwise, go out there.
What game do you want to see me review next?
There you go. And we can get her back here working on it again with me.
Sims.
Yeah. Pick a
4.
There you go.
PlayStation.
Pick a game she already likes, and the review will come faster.
Yes.
Pick a game she's not interested in, and it might take a while.
Don't say Dark Souls, y'all.
Yeah, it won't happen.
I can't play that game. That's not my skill set.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in. By all means, go out there and find a great game to play. Just simply have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
And one last let be pun so they can buzz off.
Bye.